will misuse it for something. And Nepal IGF, more than an institution, it is a forum. Just because you are so close, do you give your breast to your partner or even your underwear?
Welcome to the 5th episode of Sunway Show. My name is Pramod Paudel. I'm the Academic Director of Sunway International Business School. I'm also the Campus Chief of Software College of IT and E-Commerce. I also act as an independent consultant for higher and further education. And I've invited a very special guest this afternoon, Ms. Dikshya Raut. Dikshya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for allocating this time for us. A very brief introduction about Dikshya today. Dikshya Raut is a law graduate. As a youth ambassador of TAC, Together Against Cybercrime International, she has been active in conducting cyber law, digital literacy training for youth and policymakers in Nepal. In addition, she is a part of Multi-Stakeholder Steering Group Committee MSG of Nepal Internet Governance Forum Nepal IGF. Moreover, she has represented Nepal several times in international forums to advocate on youth and women perspective on internet issues. Once again, welcome Dikshya. Let's start.
Yeah.
I hope you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, great. I'm also ready. Can you tell me a little bit about TAC, Together Against Cybercrime, and how you are involved in this organization?
Sure. It is pronounced as TAC International, the full form of which is Together Against Cybercrime International. And very evident by name itself, it is a anti-cybercrime organization. It is based in France. So it has programs on cybersecurity and cybercrime awareness issues and all that. And my association with TAC is such that I am a youth ambassador. Which means TAC International has youth ambassadors in different countries. I am youth ambassador for Nepal, and what I'm supposed to do in Nepal is conduct these awareness programs and also address the local problems that we have in Nepal. The first problem that we have here is lack of digital literacy trainings, and that is what I'm focused in. So as a youth ambassador, what I do in Nepal is I conduct this legal literacy training, cyber law literacy training for youth and also women and other policy makers and all those sectors.
Mm-hmm. So how did you come about joining this organization? What made you join this organization? I believe that you just completed your law BA LLB, I think, right? Is it BA LLB?
Yes.
Yeah. So what motivated you to join this organization as a student? I believe you joined it as a student, right?
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell me a little more?
Actually, after the third year, my college really wanted me to intern in one of the law firms, and I happened to intern in Delta Law Firm. They received a lot of cybercrime cases, so that is where I was engaged in, and the partners who were associated with Delta International, they were involved in organizing Nepal IGF, which is Nepal Internet Governance Forum, and that's when I knew these international forum existed in the first place. So I started applying for this program. I got accepted in few, and then I started exploring few more. And then that is when I encountered TAC International, and I really liked their program, the youth ambassadorship, and all of these youth ambassadors that they had before I joined. They did wonderful programs in their countries, and that is what I wanted to do and bring here in Nepal also.
About your choice of degree, law. Can you tell me a little bit about why did you choose law? Because most of the time, I've not seen many girls taking up this education. Most of the time, of course, I know few of them doing this.
Yeah.
But what is your particular motivation, pursuing this kind of study?
Actually, I get this question a lot. I have been getting this question a lot. But interestingly, it will be surprising for you to know that there are a lot of girls in comparison to men.
Are they?
In law schools, and it is true for every law schools in Nepal.
Okay.
For example, in my class, I think there are just 20 boys, and all of the other, like out of 20 are boys, and the rest of them are girls.
Oh, wow. That's
So yeah, I
fantastic,
think it is mainly because of the fact that the families, they are really aware that when they educate the female child, And when law is something that takes you closer to decision making and policy making areas, and this is one of the strong area that we can specialize in and create a lot of manpower that are women. And I think that is where my parents were, especially my mom. She wanted me to study law because we had a lot of like land dispute, and she wanted somebody in the family to be a lawyer so that she could solve her own family issues, right?
Was there someone who did law in your family before?
My mama is a lawyer.
Okay.
I saw him, as well as there I have a ama who is Sasi Adhikari Raut, and she's one of the inspiring lady who is so strong when she speaks. I mean, she's so strong. She advocates her voice so fluently, and she makes herself so clear that I always saw her and I wanted to be her. I mean, that's how I got in.
Yeah, the legacy continues because you're very outspoken and all that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully.
Can you tell me a little bit about the next institution that you are associated with, Nepal Internet Governance Forum, Nepal IGF?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit on that, please?
Sure. Nepal IGF, more than an institution, it is a forum. It is a platform where Nepal IGF is an annual program that happens in Nepal every year, especially during summers. So it is a forum where all the stakeholders who are concerned about the internet, for example, there are technical people, there are lawmakers, there are civil society and private sectors. All of those, they have a unique association with internet. So what they do is all of them, they come together and they discuss about certain issues. For example, let's say creating smart cities. It is not the concern of lawmakers alone. It is the concern of technology people, and they have their own voice. So what this forum does is it brings all these people together and they discuss about these issues. There is no concrete conclusion or execution to their decision. But now what happens when all of these people come together is that every person know each other's perspective, right?
Is this a kind of pressure group?
More than a pressure group, it is just a forum which brings a lot of people, and then they discuss about it, the concern on internet, whether it be privacy issues or let's say inclusion issues. It is not a pressure group. It is not.
So while discussing, every year you said that the things are being discussed every year. The program happens, and when you all discuss on a certain topic, let's say cybercrimes and all that, and you everybody kind of concluded that there is one issue. So what do you do with that issue? Do you let the concerned authority know about the issue, or you leave it as it is? It's just a discussion.
Yes, it is just a discussion, first of all, and we don't the conclusion that is being drawn, and actually there is no conclusion. You imagine
But there is a recognition, right? So these are the issues. So when a group of people recognize that these are the issues relating to cybercrimes and internet, what do you do with those? Do you just leave it for the next discussion, or you pass it on to the concerned authority? I think that was my question.
Okay, we do not pass it on to any authorities, and interestingly, there is no fixed conclusion that is being drawn. Let's say, let's be informal and discuss about it. For example, if this room is full of policy makers and civil society and private sector, do you think there'll be a conclusion? No, everybody would
have their own thinking, own aspect and all that, right? Yeah,
exactly. They have their own voice. Now what happens is that the beauty of this program is everybody knows each other's perspective. Before this program, they would have maybe policymaker would have thought only on one line, but now they know other perspective, and now when they create law, they are bound to think about what civil society has to say. Now, if the policy is made against it, like totally against civil society's concern, now they know that they are going to protest, and there's going to be this pressure. But now they know what they think, and they can incorporate those opinions on their laws.
Okay, so let's move on to the core part of this podcast. What is the state of cyber law, cyber security in the current scenario of Nepal? I'm asking this question in the light that you are a youth, and of course you use internet, and of course you are concerned with cybercrimes and all that, and also you are a female, right? So I'm asking you on this variety of aspects.
Okay.
Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, I can. Obviously, so there's this one law which regulates cyber crime activities inside Nepal, which is called Electronic Transaction Act. In Nepali, it's called Vidutiya Karabara in 2023. So this law was implemented on 2063, right?
Okay.
So that was a
That
long
was a while
time ago.
back, yeah.
That was a while back, and we just have one chapter, which is chapter 9, that is dedicated on offences relating to computers.
Okay.
Now, the law which came on 2063, where there went much cybercrime cases inside Nepal, now you can imagine what laws could be there. The laws are very vague. They are not specific as to addressing a particular issue, such as, let's say, cyber harassment. It does not say anything about cyber harassment. Although cyber harassment is one of the big problems that happens in Nepal. So, if you if you ask me what is the situation of Electronic Transaction Act, it is being implemented every time where there is harassment or cyberbullying and all of these issues. But now, because the law is very vague, we are bound, we are obliged to only take all law in the court on the basis of one or two acts which are implemented or incorporated in it. So I would say, in conclusion, if you ask me situation, I would say that situation is not very nice, but there is this ICT bill which is still being discussed. I've not gone very...
it hasn't become a law, has it?
It hasn't become a law yet, but a lot of people, they've been saying that it addresses a lot of these present issues. Yeah.
When a lot of Nepalis are online now, you know, a lot of people have internet, just one page within that law framework. Do you think that is sufficient? Of course, I don't think you think that that's sufficient, but you know, as a lawyer, now I'm asking you this question as a lawyer. So how do you kind of pick the points within that page to, let's say, defend or accuse someone of cybercrime?
Thank God for this section called Section 47, which has this provision of where anything is publicized which is illegal or which is thought to be immoral.
Okay.
If that is published online, people would get punished. Although it's very vague, like I said, it's very vague.
What about sarcasms? You know, there are a lot of sarcasms on the internet, right? You know, kind of pointing to politicians, pointing to celebrities and all that. Does that count as a cybercrime?
Again, I have no yes or no answer to that, but a lot of people, they've been arrested for it. But although I feel like it's just a freedom of expression that they are using. For example, even in US and Europe, when there's this Brexit happening, or even in the Trump administration, they troll them every time and they don't get punished or they don't get arrested. But if you say something about a minister who is not crossing the road from zebra crossing, then you are being arrested. So I just feel like that is a freedom of expression where they are just using their right to criticize the government because they are there to do something, and if they are not doing it, they are just expressing it. So I don't think those things should be taken so seriously by the government. They just need to be more accepting of people's right to opinion.
Yeah, since the law is very vague, it is down to the interpretation, right?
Yes.
So don't you think that people will wrongly interpret it as per their vested interest?
Yes.
Since it's one page and it's a couple of points there, and then you can interpret anything literally, right? I mean, sometimes when it's vague, right? So do you think it's a problem regarding interpretation of the law?
I think more than misuse of the law by common people, I think that the question about interpretation, it's much more difficult for the judiciary itself.
Okay.
Because technology is so new and crimes around the technology is so new. The judiciary, even the judges inside the court, they are not trained enough to know what the terminology means and what the implications are. So more than people misusing it, that will eventually go in the court. I mean, if somebody files something against somebody, it'll go in court, and the judges themselves are finding it difficult. So now you can imagine the situation of citizens who are trying to misuse it. Yes, a lot of misuse happens, but it is on different tiers. It is in policy making as well as on the ground.
Since you might have encountered a lot of cyber crimes and related things, during when you studied law, and then when you were associated with two different organizations.
Yes.
What is the state of cybercrime in Nepal in your perspective?
It's increasing. For example,
Or can I rephrase the question first? What do you, in your opinion, or let's say from the legal aspect, what is a cybercrime?
So simply putting it, cybercrime is a crime which happens through internet or with the internet is a cybercrime, where a computer can be used as a tool or a medium or a target.
Okay.
When I say using a computer as a tool, it is for the cases such as cyber harassment, where I go on my phone and then I use it to harass somebody. Now the crime is that somebody is harassed, somebody's mental or psychological peace is disturbed. But when somebody use a computer as a target, they would try to put malware or these viruses in the computer. Now the computer is damaged or the software in the computer is damaged. So both of these things where offense happens targeting a computer or using as a medium is a cybercrime.
So the state of the cybercrime in Nepal, in your opinion? Yeah.
So the state of cybercrime, a lot of women, they are victim. See, when we say about cybercrime, it is just as any other regular any other crime, but now it is only happening on the internet. So when I say or when I make other people understand about what cybercrime is and what the situation it is in Nepal, it is just a reflection of the online violence in the internet now, because now we have a newer opportunity to do that. So what was happening before computer or technology arrived in Nepal? There were bullying, there were harassment, and all of the rape were there. Now what happens now? We are using this digital platform as an opportunity to commit cybercrime through it. So now we have this terminology like cyberbullying, now cyber harassment, now cyber or virtual rape, right? So what was the proportion of the crime? Even in the physical world, women are more victimized, and even in the internet, women are victimized again because they are considered as easy target, and also because of the power relation that we have, the excess of women to technology, it was not so much as men would get. So they do not know how to secure themselves, women, because they didn't have a technology or a device to learn from. In the first place. So now they do not know how to secure themselves, and these reasons, among many other reasons, are becoming one of the major problem where women are targeted. And if you see what is the rate of cybercrime, cyber harassment is at the peak. But there are other crimes also. So these crimes, when I say cybercrime, cyberbullying, these are mainly related to human right violation issues. But there are other crimes as well where we talk about call diverting and ATM fraud. These are also there. But since I specialize more on the human rights aspect of it, I would give more insight to what these are in Nepal.
So do we have a system to counteract such cybercrime? So we discussed a little about the law and all that. Do we have a proper system with the Nepal police and the associated agencies to tackle the resources and everything? Do you think it's enough to counter cybercrimes in Nepal?
Oh, well, in recent time, a lot of advances have already happened. So there are few mechanisms where these crimes can be reported and investigated. But they obviously aren't enough. But as comparison to what was present few decades ago, now they have incorporated few things here. So we have two agencies, the CIB and the Metropolitan Criminal Division, who has the authority to investigate on cybercrime issues. Now they have certain mechanisms. I'm not very familiar with what they are, but there are two institutions which does that, and we have Kathmandu District Court which takes over the cybercrime cases, and it hears and gives judgment about the cybercrime cases. Not all the courts in Nepal have authority to do that. Only Kathmandu District Court is the only one institution that has right to hear the cases of cybercrime all over Nepal.
So that means somebody committed a crime in Jumla has to come to Kathmandu District Court?
Yes, sadly. Yes.
So there's no provision in that particular district or that particular state to kind of do that.
No, and one of the reason that happens, the law I mentioned, the Electronic Transaction Act 2063, it mentions about creating a tribunal, specific tribunal to do that, IT tribunal to hear about cybercrime cases. But since we didn't have manpower to actually hear those cases, you know, there needs to be certain person who are expert in cybercrime, right? So, but we don't have that. So what happened was KDC, the Kathmandu District Court, was given authority to look at these cases. Now, if, for example, if we say that any regular court be given authority to hear cybercrime cases, do you think we have specialization? And if they don't have a specialization, and if we give them authority to do that, what kind of decision would they actually educate? So that is one of the reasons why KDC specifically is given this right. But yeah, sadly, a lot of people, they have to travel in. Given our geographical situation all over Nepal, it's really difficult for people to come here, and it also adds economical burden. That way, it's sad, but then we don't have
any much resources at the moment, right?
Yeah,
but then I hope the Nepal government and the agencies are reaching out to various districts to tackle these things in the future. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I don't know, a lot of private sectors and civil society organizations, they've been traveling to these places to raise cybercrime awareness program and cybersecurity awareness program. But if you say the government intervention to it, I hope that it happens soon, because it's so important at the present time.
Okay, moving on. Do you think making a troll is a cybercrime?
It's a difficult question all over.
Because a lot of when I spoke to a few people that I'm doing this podcast with you, and one of the questions everybody was interested is making a troll a crime.
So this is really complex, and for me to answer it within 1 hour frame of time, it's really difficult. But I would tell you. So there's this thing called नेपालीमै भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ जस्तो if you are a normal person, right? So तपाईँ normal person हुनुभयो, मैले तपाईलाई personally केही comment गरेँ भने त्यो साइबर क्राइम हुन सक्छ हैन? त्यो चाहिँ त्यसको gravity चाहिँ it's much more. If you are a politician and if I troll you, it is said that politician अथवा कुनै पनि public figures हरुले चाहिँ यो जुन उनीहरुले offense लिने भन्छ नि त्यो चाहिँ it should be lower with the same thing that I say to you. किनकि उनीहरु public figure हो, अनि even for celebrities यो कुराहरु चाहिँ because they have onus which lies with the public, right? उनीहरु पब्लिकहरुमा चाहिँ के भन्छ उनीहरुको केही न केही जिम्मेवारी छ, अनि उनीहरुले क्रिटिसिजम लिनु पर्छ भनेर भन्छ हैन? तर प्राइभेट पर्सनलाई त्यही कुरा भन्यो भने चाहिँ त्यसको ग्राभिटी अलि कम हुन्छ. So it really goes by case basis. But then I don't think trolling.
Let's say I made a troll on you.
Yes.
Let's say I know you very well. I know you a little bit, but let's say I know you very well since past 10-15 years, and then you and I are very good friends and all that, and I suddenly, out of the blue, I made a troll out of you without your knowledge. But let's say the troll is not that offensive, and I made a troll out of you on regular matters.
Yeah.
Right? But then you did not like it.
Yeah.
Can you file a case against me?
Yes, but in Nepal, since we don't have provision to specifically go about it, you would go defamation and slander act ma गाली तथा बेइज्जती ऐन भन्छ नेपालमा हैन. त्यसमा चाहिँ अब मलाई यदि offensive लाग्यो र if I'm able to prove that what you commented was rude, what you commented would really disturb my psychological peace, then yes.
But you can always say that this particular line I did not like it, although it appears very normal to a lot of people. This one is very personal to me. This one is very offensive to me.
Yeah.
So can you file a case based against that?
Of course I can file, and of course you could be jailed. Because if I'm able to prove to the court and the court believes that the line was really personal to me and that really offended me, and you had knowledge that line, that particular statement would do that harm to me, then you could be punished.
What if I deny that I did not know? about that particular line.
Yeah, that's where lawyers play in, right? That's where lawyers play in. But then it's really difficult. So it really goes on how you defend each other's right. But if I'm able to justify that it really hampered me and you had a knowledge, or the circumstances were such that you should have known that this was offense. This would create offense to me. Then you could be punished. It's really subjective.
Okay, I have a few questions from my students when I told them that I'm kind of interviewing you.
Yeah.
There's one kind of interesting. Fake profiles.
Yes.
I know we are all aware of fake profiles, right? So fake profiles are created in order to take revenge on someone.
Yes.
Are chat applications secure? Right? That's a different question. So let's go on to the first one. Fake profiles are created in order to take revenge on someone.
Yeah.
So what does the law say on fake profiles?
In Nepal, nothing. So yeah, fake profiles are one of the most camouflaged profile with the perpetrator, or let's say the culprit is.
Yes.
It's easier for them to hide behind just a profile. But if I have the evidence of you trolling me every time, you harassing me every time, when I say you, I mean the perpetrator.
Yeah, of course.
Every time, then if I take a screenshot of it, if I have evidence of it, then I can go about it. But it's really difficult to know who's behind that. And since there's not much mechanism put in place here in Nepal right now, it would be really difficult to navigate or to identify the criminals.
The next one is about chat. You know, there are a lot of chat applications available on the internet. Are they secure? I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask that. Are they secure? That's the question that students have asked. And let's say I sent something. Let's say somebody sent some malicious message on my chat page. Then is there any possibility to delete it, because most of the chat applications, all the messages get recorded, right? So is there any way that if I complain somewhere, that message could be deleted? Or do you really have to contact the provider of that application, let's say Messenger, let's say Facebook Messenger? So if I complain to Nepal police, or I complain to the concerned authority, would they be able to kind of retrieve it and delete it forever? Do you think?
I don't think so. Because if you start doing that, then imagine how many people are there on the internet. It'll be really difficult. But I don't know. It could be. There are some exceptional cases where if not if something is offensive, if there is a terrorist attack or something of national security importance, that level, then something can happen. But for something which is offensive, but you can always report. I mean, if that is public, if you report it, then the profile of the culprit can be forever deleted. That can happen in the public post. But if we talk about the private chat, I don't think that can be deleted forever. No,
there could be billions of people using the same chat, and then for the provider, it's an impossible task, isn't it?
And if that happens every day, how many people will complain about it?
True. Okay, this is one more interesting question. There are Facebook apps like Who is Your True Lover? Right? So, and similar kind of apps.
Yes.
That's just an example. Some of us might even enter intimate details regarding the same, right?
Yeah.
So is there a provision to track them or stop them? Is there a provision to track them or stop them? Do you think? I mean, I'm not asking you as a technical person.
Yeah.
So within the legal framework, is there any way that we can do it?
Yeah. I mean, that can be easily misused, and somewhere that we belong from, I mean, from Nepal, there's a lot of chances that the person will misuse it for something. And just the physical world, it's difficult to blackmail somebody, but in online world where you share all of your details and your family details and your intimate pictures, is really easy to be blackmailed against. So do not do that. I mean, भोलिपर्सि फस्ने चान्सेस इफ यु सी इट सो क्लियरली एन्ड अल अदर पिपल इन्क्लुडिङ मी सेइङ द्याट हुन्छ नि यो चाहिँ गर्यो भने ब्ल्याकमेल हुन सजिलो हुन्छ वाइ आर यु डुइङ द्याट हुन्छ नि डोन्ट डु इट
Don't share passwords.
No, don't share password, and
even though you are very close to your partner.
Yes, and if possible, don't share your intimate pictures and details with your partner also.
Now, I don't understand why do people do that, because they meet anyway, right? Physically they meet somewhere.
Yeah.
So why is there a need to send your intimate pictures intimate messages that get stored on the phone. Even if you delete it from your phone, it gets stored in the server, and that could be kind of retrieved by people, unauthorized people. So it's very sad that people do not understand this.
Yeah, and also if you trust your partner so much, I mean, it can be such that the people in a relationship they might be in relationship for years and years, and now they've built that trust. But a person who's the intermediary can always misuse it. Or let's say, for example, if you have your pictures in your phone also, and if it gets lost, although it is not misused by my partner, it can get misused by anyone else who gets my phone. So it's as simple as that.
Phone is something which you can easily lose.
Yeah. Until and unless we don't go to the e-financial transactions, electronic financial transaction, it cannot, maybe the issue wouldn't be that severe, but now we've already started going, and now if you keep accepting that, and if you publish your intimate details, and also not only that, people are publishing their certificates and their citizenship and passport and all of these details in their Facebook pages, this can be really bothering in very few amount of time, and people will realize it very soon after it's misused, of course. But I really suggest everyone who are watching that do not post all your intimate details, or even your certificates, or even the national identity card, passport, nothing. It can be very easily misused. Do not do that.
Yeah, I've seen Facebook posts, somebody traveling abroad, and they're posting the copy of the visa.
Yeah.
Which has all the details.
Yes.
Right, including passport number and the even date of birth, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. So visa starting date and end date and names and sometimes even address.
अनि एकदम इन्ट्रेस्टिङली अर्को कुरा के पनि हो भने हामीले जहिले पनि कुनै पनि फर्महरू फिल गरेर हुन्छ नि आफूले, अनि सेक्युरिटी क्वेसन्समा के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि तिम्रो डेट अफ बर्थ हाल, अनि देन रिट्रिभ गर्न सकिन्छ नि आफ्नो
फिसिङ भन्छ के
अनि त्यो पासवर्डहरू फेरि हामीले अब यदि मैले पासवर्ड बिर्सेँ अनि मलाई गुगलले केही क्वेसन पठाउँछ, तिम्रो मदरको नाम के हो, और फादर तिम्रो मदर कहाँ वेन दे मेट इच अदर फर द फर्स्ट टाइम, अब यो डिटेलहरू सबै त्यहाँनिर, डेट अफ बर्थहरू पनि त्यहाँनिर हुन्छ होइन. अनि नाउ इफ समबडी नोज माई डिटेल, अनि फेसबुकलाई यदि मैले पासवर्ड बिर्सेँ भने पनि अब यो क्वेसनहरू आन्सर गरेर सेक्युरिटी क्वेसन, अनि देन आई लेट यु लग इन भन्छ नि. अब यदि त्यसमा त्यो जो अब कर्पोरेटहरूलाई अब मेरो सर्टिफिकेटबाट सबै कुराबाट थाहा भएर त्यहाँ एन्टर गरिदियो भने त दे क्यान इजिली गो अन टु माई जिमेल एन्ड फेसबुक अकाउन्ट. सो त्यसरी पनि सेन्सिटिभ हुन्छ कि यो डिटेल्सहरू चाहिँ, दे आर सो सेन्सिटिभ, पिपल डोन्ट रियलाइज इट.
So, Dikshya, what preventative measures should be taken by young boys and young girls or anyone on social media these days?
The first thing is keep your password very strong. I'm not a cybersecurity expert, but when he showed me the algorithms, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, त्यो राखेको चाहिँ त्यो एल्गोरिदम अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड गर्ने कति इजी हुँदो रहेछ के. वेयरएज इन यदि तपाईँले वर्ड राख्नुभयो or symbol or even the numbers, it's difficult to find out what your password is. And also keep 2-factor authentication and do not use these apps हुन्छ नि जहाँनिर चाहिँ तिमीले आई अग्री गर्नुपर्छ. अनि अरू पनि कुनै पनि एप्लिकेसन्स प्ले स्टोरहरूबाट गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि पनि ट्रु कलरहरू जुन छ अथवा हुन्छ नि योहरू तिनीहरूले तिम्रो मात्र डिटेल होइन, तिम्रो फ्यामिलीको डिटेल्स पनि लिन्छ, तिम्रो कन्ट्याक्ट डिटेलहरू सबै कुरा थाहा हुन्छ. दिस काइन्ड अफ थिङ. एन्ड अल्सो वाइल इन्टरेक्टिङ विथ समबडी, जुन हामी इट्स लाइक अ फिजिकल वर्ल्ड जहाँ हामी सावधानी अपनाउँछौँ नि. जस्तो कि बच्चाहरूलाई वी अलवेज से द्याट डु नट मिट स्ट्रेन्जर द्याट यु मिट अनलाइन, बिकज आई क्यान अलवेज पुट सलमान खानको पिक्चर विथ मी बिहाइन्ड इट. So these basic things which we apply physical world, the online ma jane bittikai we feel like it's an illusion, but it's not an illusion. It's a second home, digital home that we have, which we need to keep very secure. Thake tala laउने is password secure गर्ने. अब सानो त्यो के रे सुटकेस मा झुन्ड्याउने ताला लाएर त भएन हैन, ठुलो फोटो ताला लाउन पर्यो.
Yes. So that's the password. And also I was speaking with the police department at Kamal Pokhari, and they told me that there are a lot of cases where, let's say, between couples, they send intimate messages to each other, including the photographs, and they suddenly one day out of the blue they separate.
Yeah.
the photographs are still on the phone, and there are cases where people are blackmailing. By obviously they have the photos and details on that. So do you think it's wise to share a password with your boyfriend or girlfriend? Or do you think it's wise to send intimate pictures or intimate messages and things like that to your boyfriend or a girlfriend?
So in a relationship, it's obvious that whether it be your boyfriend or girlfriend or even your parents, family, anyone, you trust them so much that you would want to give them everything that you have. And a lot of times between girlfriend and boyfriend, I realized the trend where the boyfriend says that don't you trust me with your password, and the girlfriend is like, oh, what do I do? And then they give, and the case is vice versa. The girl does the same, but.
Is it okay? Do you think it's okay?
I've heard somewhere, I'll tell you something. I've heard somewhere to brush just because you are so close, do you give your brush to your partner or even your underwear? So it's the password is like that. You don't share it with anyone.
It's very personal thing.
It's very personal, like a toothbrush. It's very personal, and you don't share it with anybody.
For example, let's say you are close to your mom or your brother or whoever in the family. You don't give out password, do you?
And
a lot of people don't, right?
Yeah.
So why are you giving that to your boyfriend who you've been dating for the past 1 year or so? One other question that I've been told you to ask.
Yeah.
It's something related to girls and career, right? Why should girls beat the odds and take up a career related to cyber law, cyber security, or even the technology for that matter?
Yeah. I think I'd like to say that maybe I'm not the right person to say that because
this is a personal question. In your opinion.
I'll go to that question also. Number one, I'm just starting my career, and interestingly, surprisingly, and all that, I've been getting a lot of platforms to say what I believe in. Although I'm not the expert, I'm yet to specialize, and I am yet to get so much experience. I'm yet to learn so much. But even though I'm interested, I'm motivated, and I'm doing something in this area, a little bit what I do, that is being recognized because this is a new subject. A lot of people, they do not have knowledge in this area, and they find it really, really interesting when a girl especially sees something. When the girl says how to be secure in the internet, as opposed to that girls where to be told what cybersecurity is and how to be secure. So you get a lot of respect. First of all, you get a lot of platforms. I've been getting a lot of platforms, even in the national level and the international level. I'm getting to represent my country about what the technological advancement that we have in Nepal, what we don't have in Nepal. So I'm getting these spaces. So I'm guessing I'll have a good future. So if I can do that, I'm just a normal girl who's just interested in being educated and is motivated to do so much more. And I know there are a lot of girls who are out there who are similar to me, and I believe that they'll also get an amazing platform if they choose this career.
Yeah, being a student, you were associated with a couple of companies, and you've traveled to different places and represented our country and all that. And I believe that's quite an achievement. Right?
Yeah, thank you.
Quite an achievement. Because a lot of people at your age, they are indulged in all those fun activities and hanging around with friends. Of course, you do that too. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't do that, but then they focus more the effort on those things that does not contribute much to their career. So, what do you suggest, especially for girls of your age or your junior, even seniors? To build a confidence and to build a career, to do things that matters for the future?
Like they say, I think in the present society and present time, information is the key. So ask, Google, and then you'll find a lot of information. I mean, when I started out, they went to any expert, they went to any people who have already gone to these international conferences, not the youth. I mean, there were other people, adult people who had already gone to these forums, but nobody like me. Then what I did was Google. I asked it. I mean, I asked the internet, and I asked people around me who had already gone.
So put internet to good use.
Yeah, be productive.
Rather than chatting and uploading pictures. Of course, I'm not against all that.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not against all that. I do that too. Right? But then I urge all students, whether male or females, or put internet to good use. I mean, find things, the research, and it's there. It's an ocean. I mean, you could find anything there.
Yes.
Right. So, but then what I find, amongst my students, that they spend all the time chatting, uploading pictures, downloading some materials, and that they're not researching, they're not looking for opportunities, they're not looking to kind of connect with the right people and all that, right?
Yeah.
So only few of them. So I urge all of them to do that. So I believe you agree with me as well.
Yeah,
putting internet to good use.
Yeah, I mean, like chatting and everything, like even I did, I'm a youngster,
too.
Right? So it really increased my typing skills. So that is the advantage, right? So those are fun, and you need to have those recreational activities as you grow up. But having said that, there are a lot of youth opportunities platform where they post a lot of conferences on daily basis. So you can do that and see something of your interest, and even if you want to do something fun, then look at those conferences where they have these cultural shows if you are interested in it, and if you just want to roam there. A lot of travel opportunities, and I love to travel, and I've gotten so much platform from those things. So if you can use internet to chat and all that, just use your 5 minutes to just look at the conferences that are available online, which are fully funded, and and who wouldn't like fully funded? Right?
You could get those things on the internet.
Yeah.
Only if you look. And if you look the other way, then you will not find it, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have a kind of research a little bit to find out opportunities. What opportunity? It's not necessary that you need to invest. You need money to do all these things.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, not at all. I mean, I've traveled to 6 countries now, and I went everywhere for free, and plus they gave me stipend to.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I could spend spend 2 days more and explore where I wanted to, apart from conference. So that's a plus.
So how did you go to these countries through the institution, the organization that you're associated with? Is that the case?
No.
Okay.
So
how did you find about these conferences, and how did you manage to go abroad with stipend and all? I'm very interested.
Yeah, sure. I would love to say that. Actually, the institution that I worked in really helped me to collect the experiences. For example, if you apply to any conferences, they would want some experience. They should know that you are motivated enough that if I learn something from the conference, I'll be able to bring back the knowledge that I acquired there.
Yeah.
So that is necessary. You need to work, or you need to have experience to show them that you are motivated, first of all. And second, since I'm interested in cybersecurity, I started looking at conferences on cybersecurity. It's as simple as that.
Right?
Yeah, Google knows that. Okay, these are keywords. Maybe I should feed this to her. And then I saw eligibility. And I found that since women today are very encouraged to pursue and to collect these opportunities, so all of them women are really encouraged, and people from developing countries are encouraged, and that's the criteria I needed, apart from the experience that I needed. So I did that, and then I applied. I just applied and then accepted. It's so simple. I mean, people are.
Why aren't many people doing it? Why aren't many youngsters doing it when it's so simple?
I'm surprised myself.
So that's the thing, isn't it? And that's why I said search and research and look for opportunities on the internet, not just indulge in all those activities. You can do that as well. That's fine. That's a different aspect. But use the internet to find opportunities, and use the internet to find opportunities so that you can travel abroad, meet new people, develop yourself, grow your personality, and so on and so forth.
And also, I'd like to add, if you're not selected for the first time, I know there are many youth who don't get selected as well, because there are so many applications happening every year. But I really encourage every youth to apply next year also, and then next year also. Then they would know, they see a pattern. She's been applying for 2 years now. Maybe she needs a chance. Maybe if we give her opportunity, maybe she'll do something. So they note that. They note who's applying and who's not. So if you're not selected for the first time or second time, go for third time, because I've been doing that and it's really helpful for me.
So, we're coming towards the end. Dikshya, any last words to my audience and to fellow girls and everybody?
To the girls, one thing I wanted to add if the question came, but I would like to answer that on my own. So a lot of time I've seen in the internet and all these pages like Routine of Nepal Banda, they're so famous, right? So a lot of guys, they are commenting on the poster, but women, they are really reluctant to do it. Maybe because you face a lot of trolling and bullying and you're not confident enough to say what you think is right. But I really encourage you guys to go out there and give it a try. Even if you are trolled, I also encourage other women that if somebody is being trolled, just go out there and then rescue her. Because next time if you get trolled, they'll rescue you too. So use your freedom of expression. Internet is a wonderful thing. Use it to say what you feel is right. But do not, having said that, do not troll anybody or comment anything offensive. But you have right to do that, to express yourself well. Do that and keep your fellow women safe. Keep yourself safe and exercise all those rights that you have.
Yeah. On closing remark, I would like to thank Dikshya. It was a fantastic conversation, and to sum it up a little bit, we have to stay safe online. We do not want to share our passwords. We need to keep our password complex. Don't do 123456 9851 2456 like that. And also look out for various opportunities for you to travel abroad. Look out for various applications, various seminars and all that, which are mostly free. Of course, that is going to be competitive. But then if you fail once, don't give up, try next year, and they also see a pattern that you are very interested and that you are motivated to attend that particular seminar. So that's pretty much about it. Thank you again. See you next time.